Hello world, Wendy from Cali here, back with our mixed mani chat. It is March, and usually I start with all my green manis in the month of March, but Stacy Adams has a new game for us, Pete's Palettes, and I picked a palette number and ended up with this Valentine's-esque sort of color scheme here, which I'm here for. Just a little late on the, color scheme here, but I'm going to do it. The point of the game is, with Pete's Palettes, we're looking at the colors. Only can use those colors. Don't have to use all 5 colors, but we want to use at least 3 of them. And we don't have to make it match the picture, but there's keywords here. The keywords are food, sweets, bright, and colors are magenta, salmon pink, Isabellian, scarlet, and chestnut. I wanted to also take care of use it or lose it because we're still in the use it or lose it phase here. So what I have for us are leftover sets. This is Purrfect Match, and it has the magenta, it has the scarlet, so that takes care of that. I also have Little Kisses, just the solid frost, shimmer, whatever strips left of that, and that's going to cover Isabelline, which is like a grayish, cream, white, whatever color. And then for chestnut's basically a brown with red tint to it. So Rosy Reverie felt very chestnut-like in color. So I went with that. And then for salmon pink, I've got Princess Cut, which in different lighting, it sometimes looks like it matches. In other lighting, I don't know, but that's what we're going with. So if you're here for it, keep watching. If not, you can totally go find other content to watch. But it's been a week. I totally did not want to take off my polish or my mixed mani from last week. I really enjoyed it a lot. And I even still have like the leftover pieces, leftover sets, I should say, that I used last week, still tucked in my little nail box. So that's how busy of a week it's been. I haven't had a chance to empty it out and put things away and all of that. Oh, the colors. Well, you already saw what the colors are going to be, so I don't have to keep showing what the colors look like. But I've been working all day today, did laundry, baked bread, helped my mom with tech issues, and now I'm ready to get new nails on. So here we are. And just let that air dry. I did earlier today, because I thought I would be doing my nails much earlier today during my lunch break, but it didn't quite turn out. I have Stacy Sparkle Sauce Stuck on You, which I know she's probably going to change the name of that when she actually is going to put them up for sale and stuff like that. But this is the kind of like the Orally Bonder. Like, it's supposed to help adhere, polish, and the strips better. So I had put that on my nails earlier today with the intent of doing my nails earlier, but now we're here. So hopefully it's still gonna work just fine hours later. We will find out. I have been having pretty good luck with it, as long as I let it fully dry. If I don't let it fully dry first and then I stick nail strips on it, I end up having the nail strips, almost like they're melting. I don't know if that makes sense, but they're easy to shift around on the nails, and that's not what we want. We want it to stay stuck. So I hope that with the extra time for it to dry, and as the day went, that's going to help a little bit. But let's talk about what's been going on this week. So February, last week of February just came and went, and we've seen a bunch of open houses. We've also been shown like private showings of houses on the market from this real estate agent that we've been kind of working with. Haven't signed a contract with him as of yet, but he's been pretty reliable. So far we've enjoyed working with him. But if you're just tuning in and you don't know what's going on, my aunt on my dad's side is looking into purchasing real estate, and she said that why have Panda Bear's sister pay rent to a stranger when she could pay rent to family. So we've been helping her look for the right house that fits what she's looking for as an investment property, and that fits what Mama Carla and her fam would need as far as a living space. And it can't be smaller than what they're already used to, and we're hoping it's more of an upgrade from what they're currently living in, because why bother having the extra effort of moving if you're not going to end up in a place that has more space for the kids to continue to be able to grow. So we've seen some really cool places, but the problem is that my aunt is really slow in making decisions, and right now it's like there's less supply than demand. There are investors out there that are willing to pay cash up front for properties to just turn around and flip it and sell it for even more, that kind of thing. And some of the times when we're looking at houses, my aunt's not available to come and take a look, and she needs my cousin to look at it too, and there's all these things. And so if they're not coming with us on the days where we're actually looking at the open houses, it's almost like a waste of time for us, because by the time we're like, hey, we spotted a house that might work, it's like literally like off the market the next weekend. So that's what we've been dealing with. Mind you, it's a lot of fun looking at different houses. I don't mind it at all. But it has taken away some of my weekend time for things like cooking new things and all of that. I did give up 3 different things for Lent. One of the things was baked goods, so no cookies, no cake, no pastries, none of that for 40 days and 40 nights. And so that frees up a little bit of my time, because I tend to like to make baked goods to share with family and with my coworkers and all of that. Haven't been doing it for the past week or so. So that does give me some of my time back. And all right, sorry, I know I'm recording this live, but Panda Bear's calling me, so I'm not quite sure what. Hey, Panda Bear.
Hey, I was calling your phone. Did you hear your phone?
I'm recording a video, so I didn't hear the phone. No.
Are you recording your video?
Yes.
Okay, I'm having some trouble right now, but it's okay.
Oh. Okay. Sorry about that. So, um, lost my train of thought. Um. Anyways, so a lot of my weekend time is taken up with looking at new houses on the market. And this past weekend, we also babysat the kiddos so that Mama Carla and Edgar can have a dinner date after he got off of work. So there was that. And then Sunday, I attempted to make shrimp wonton soup for my pops from scratch. That means making the wrappers, making the filling, making the broth, all of it. I woke up at like 6 in the morning knowing that we were planning to leave the house around 11, thinking that I would have enough time to do all of that. But I also had made a green bean casserole for my mom. I don't remember. I made a whole bunch of stuff on Sunday morning. But long story short is the amount of time it took to do everything made it so that we were not able to join our nieces at Funbox. So Mama Carla and Edgar actually took them on their own to Funbox. And when I was done, went to their house to make sure our nephew Benjamin was okay, because he's a teenager, but he's autistic, so can't really leave him home alone at the house for too long. So we were over there for a bit, and we finally did our Southern Colonies meal. So our nieces were learning about the Southern Colonies, the Middle Colonies, and the Northern Colonies like months ago. And we had already done the Middle Colonies and Northern Colonies as far as like a Sunday brunch theme that Mama Carla typically will make specific foods from those regions and that time period for everyone to enjoy. Back in January, when everyone got sick, like we stopped doing right around the holidays too, we stopped doing Sunday brunches for a bit because of the holidays and just people getting sick, all of that. We had to postpone, and it kept getting pushed back. And so Southern Colonies we didn't do until just this past Sunday. And for Southern Colonies, Mama Carla made a fusilli pasta salad. She also made Southern fried chicken. She also made collard greens. And she made honey cornbread. My task was to make shrimp and grits. And so that's what I did. I made shrimp and grits. And I also made a Southern Colonies hot chocolate, because on Saturday when we were babysitting the kiddos, the youngest one was like, "Can you make more whipped cream? I really want whipped cream." And she's like, "Can you make hot chocolate?" And I was like, not on Saturday night. It was such a hot day Saturday, and it was like later on in the evening, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be making hot chocolate. But then I took it to heart because, they don't always ask for specific things. And when they do, if I can swing it, I will do it. And so Sunday I made the Southern Colonies hot chocolate because I wanted to tie it into the theme of our Sunday dinner. And the reason why we didn't do a Sunday brunch was because one of the things that Mama Carla gave up for Lent was eating during the daytime. So she was like treating it like, I think, Ramadan, where only eating after sunset. So yeah, we did that. But I mentioned I did a lot of cooking on Sunday and made the wontons from scratch. Lots to learn. Lots to learn. I know my pops was telling me that he's seen videos of people making wontons, and one of the things is you want really like rapidly boiling water, but also tossing cold water on the wontons. I don't know. I will have to research that technique and try it again another time. But one thing I bought from Amazon that I'm very happy that I bought was this bamboo rolling pin that's like it looks like a tube, and it works amazing. Like, it's so easy to use, and it's the right size for our kitchen because our kitchen's so tiny. It was just the perfect size for rolling things out really thin on the amount of counter space I have to do everything. So, love the rolling pin. Very excited to hopefully be able to use it more when I'm back to baking stuff. So right now I'm not really baking very much, but at least I can possibly attempt again the wontons. But my mom, when she was watching me attempt to make wontons from scratch, she was like, if it were me, I would just go buy the wonton wrappers from the store. And I could see why, because oh my gosh, it was a lot of work. And hard to get it exactly the right texture and the right thickness. And so when you're pressed for time, you probably would fare better getting the already pre-packaged, shaped the right size, the right thickness and all of that from the store. But for me, I like doing everything from scratch just for the whole challenge of it, the whole experience of it. And so that's me taking the extra time, which I hope to have more time to be able to practice, and do more. Anywho, but what I also did this weekend was I finally got to catch up on the last 4 episodes. So part 2 of Bridgerton season 4, and I was happy that I was able to finish watching it. I had to kind of parse it out throughout the weekend because even though the episodes aren't that long and there's only 4 of them, it's been a very busy weekend. And so, but I enjoyed that. And then I found that Netflix has a Bridgerton podcast. And so I've been kind of watching those whenever I get a chance, which isn't very much, like on my lunch break here and there or whatever. I would do that. And so yeah, did that. Also was really, really, really like wanting to watch The Three Amigos. I grew up on that, and it's one of those movies that just so memorable. And so we watched that on Sunday while while the kiddos were at Funbox, they returned, and some of them sat and watched the movie with me, but some of them didn't. You know, they're not big on watching movies that don't have a lot of like appeal to their age. So I attempted to show them Newsies on Saturday. They were not enjoying that either, even though I love Newsies. I don't know why. It's just that whole time period, that musical itself with Christian Bale and all of them. I like that one a lot. So I watched that. We also watched The Jungle Book and Pocahontas. So I was just like all over the place with movies this weekend. Pocahontas because like colonization, since we were basically like having our Southern colonies meal, thought that Pocahontas might be a good fit for the theme. Because the only other, when I was searching for like Southern colonies or like that time period, was Felicity, an American Girl Adventure or something like that, was what popped up. I've never seen that movie, and I typically don't want to show the kiddos any movie that I've never actually seen myself. So yeah, I passed on that. But, oh, did I cut this open already? That was open. That was not sealed. Oh, oops, these strips might not work then if I didn't seal them. We'll find out right now. But basically what I wanted to do was I wanted to cut little flowers and place them on the chestnut color, which is the Rosy Reverie. This is my dirt. It's my dirt, but it's also my chocolate. If I'm thinking outside the box and thinking that it is like sweets, my sweets are decorated with some fondant flowers. So maybe like it's like a chocolate cake or something, you know? Something like that. But let me punch some of these flowers so that I can place them. Alright, so I don't think it's big enough for the big flower, but I can at least get the two little ones. Oop, one of them came sticking to my chest. Alright, so here we go. Let's test this out, see if it still has the ability to stick. Stick it over that area that got lifted up there. There we go. Stick this one. But yeah, I've been trying to enjoy some of the things that I like to watch, listen to, read. It's been very hard trying to make time for all of that when we're so busy with just a lot of different things. And then work has been busy, so it's like trying to juggle work and also trying to juggle getting prepared for our family trip in June, because we're going to Canada, Niagara Falls, so I need a passport. I had gotten a passport, ironically, the last time I went to Canada with my family, and the thing about that was when I got the passport, I didn't actually need it at the time, because back then, driving up to Canada from the United States, you did not need to have a passport. So my mom had said I needed one, and so I had gotten one, and all for naught. Like, I didn't need it. Now, though, if you drive into Canada, at least if I'm not from the state of New York or anything like that, you need a passport or a passport card. And so Panda Bear and I are working on getting our passports this week. At least starting the process of it this week. Because we need to have sufficient time to actually receive it and have it for our trip in June. So, alright. Randomly throw flowers on for now. I'm trying not to look at my fingers and try to match them up exactly, because I tend to want to do that where it's like a mirror image on my hands, and it doesn't always work out that way. So I'm consciously trying to not pay attention to where I'm throwing the flowers. But also sometimes it just happens that I place them in the same spot. Reading wise, what I have been listening to. So I mentioned last week in the Manny chat that I have been listening to an audiobook. It's called The Big Fat Surprise. And again, I'm blanking on the name of the author, but she's a journalist that wrote about the history of, why our U.S. diet is so it went through a big phase of everything low fat, avoid fat, especially saturated fat, animal fat, butter, all that stuff back in the 80s and whatever. And the book kind of goes through why that was so, and and why fat's actually good for certain things and all of that. So not going to go into the details, since if you want to know it all, go ahead and read the book or listen to the book. But just thought I'd just report back on that. I didn't fully finish listening to it yet, and it's due back to the library in 2 days, and there's already somebody in line for checking it out after me. So I kind of already have the gist of what the book is about. It's nothing new to me, as far as what I know already, because Panda Bear actually took us down a whole health journey right before the pandemic, due to my father's heart attack, and also due to back in the days, I was super depressed. Super depressed. To the point where there was one point where I had a panic attack at work one day, and Panda Bear actually took me to the hospital, and we weren't quite sure if I needed to be hospitalized or not. That's how bad it got during that time period when it all occurred before my dad had his heart attack. And so when that happened, I went to see a psychiatrist, and she prescribed me meds. They almost always prescribe meds, but my psychiatrist actually did one better. She prescribed me to read a book, because she was telling me that sometimes diet actually really affects the mood. And so, um, I forgot the name of the book. I think it's called Why We Get Fat or something, but it's by Gary Tubbs. And during that time when we were learning a lot of different things, it took us down like a whole journey. Like we did keto, we did carnivore, we did intermittent fasting, we did like long like fasting. Like the longest fasting that we did was a 72-hour fast. We did a lot of stuff, and I did drop a significant amount of weight during that time. And then when we stopped focusing on all of that, a lot of the weight came back, which usually is what happens when it's not a full-on lifestyle change for good. But also during the pandemic, like we were working exclusively remotely, and that cut down on the 2+ hours of commute time that kills my day, stuck in traffic back and forth from the office and back. And even when working in the office during the pandemic, there was so little traffic because everyone was either working remote or going to school remote. And so, like, there was a lot of time, like so much time. That was the only silver lining of the pandemic, because the pandemic was just a lot. Like it really like took its toll on us mentally. But anyways, before all of that, as I mentioned, psychiatrist prescribed a book for me, or I shouldn't say prescribed, recommended a book for me to read, and I read it, and it actually really like hit home, and I was able to change my diet at that time and get off the meds and feel really good, like really, really good. And so that's one of the reasons why this book, The Big Fat Surprise, kind of caught my interest when I saw the title and what it was about. So that was why I was listening to that book. But other books that I am reading or listening to, so I finished the Lynn Painter book, Nothing Like the Movies, and had created a playlist of the songs that were listed in the book at the end, in the epilogue. I love books like that. Like, if you have read some books where there's like a playlist tie-in or anything like that, and you want to share, comment below with the title of the book, the author of the book, and all that good stuff so that I can check it out. One other book that had something like that where there was a playlist, I remember the author Colleen Hoover. It wasn't exactly a playlist, but it was, she had this artist, this musician, who actually ended up making the songs that were in the book. So that was really cool. And then Abby Jimenez is an author that my Color Street stylist, Shannon, had recommended to us. And she has one book where a playlist is mentioned, and I actually own that book in Audible, because I was able to buy it when Audible had a sale. I think it was like one of those where you use 1 credit to buy 2 books. You can pick 2 different books. And so I did that. So I have that. And yeah, that is what I've been into lately. The current book that I'm reading is called Betting on You by Lynn Painter. I just started it, so I'm not like fully like all into it just yet. But it's a little different than the other two books. So not quite sure if I'm enjoying it as much as the other two books. We'll see. But I think what's unique about the other two books was because it was the same characters that were discussed, and also the playlist factor. I really liked that tie-in. So yeah. But also, speaking of Audible earlier, I had purchased some audiobooks before I canceled the subscription. So I don't know if you've been here and you've heard me talk about this already, but I don't like paying full price for stuff. I typically like waiting for deals if I can, and Audible had deals where it was like 3 months for 99 cents each month. And I jumped on that because that's awesome. Otherwise, it's like I kind of just like leave it up to fate and just wait for when my library apps, either Palace app for my local library or the Libby app, has the books I'm looking for. So I'll place stuff on hold and just wait my turn. Because again, I don't have all the time in the world to be reading and to be listening to audiobooks and to be watching shows and all that stuff. So, yeah. But anyways, the book that I'm listening to, Cursed Fates, Zodiac Academy, the part 2 dramatization version of that. And I'm like almost done with it. I think I have like 2 more hours left in the audiobook. But I got into that series because one of the YouTubers I watch, Mr. Kate, she does DIY stuff and home improvement and all that stuff. In one of her videos in the background on her bookshelves was Zodiac Academy, and I was like, what's Zodiac Academy? Very spicy books. Schmut is what I sometimes call it. But I love it. It's just great. Like the dramatized versions of it by Graphic Audio is like so much fun. It's like listening to a movie. So yeah. That's what I'm listening to right now. And previously, when I was prepping for season 4 of Bridgerton, I re-listened to An Offer from a Gentleman, which is the Julia Quinn book that the 4th season of Bridgerton is based on. So I may just like go back to listening to all the Bridgerton audiobooks just to kind of reacquaint myself with all the stories. But again, time, right? Time is a big factor when it comes to deciding whether or not to do something. So for now, probably won't, because there's just not enough time in a day, and there's so much new content that I'd rather explore. But yeah, one thing, so I talk about not enough time, but also over the weekend I spent like a good hour, if not more, just staring at the fishies in our pond in our backyard. in October, so rewind, before October of last year, my pups had 3 different fishies. These are feeder goldfish that he's purchased from the pet store for super cheap, that he just likes to, feed oatmeal and stuff like that, leave them in the pond. He had 3 of them. 2 of them died. There was only 1 left. One that has now been named Queso by my nieces. Previously, the fish did not have any names because I didn't really care for them. I was like, whatever, they're just in the backyard, sure, whatever. Don't really care. However, fast forward to October, and my pops wants new fish to add to the pond. And so we all went together to the pet store, and I was able to help pick out the fishies. One in particular that I helped pick out is a really tiny one that was like a light orange color with black spots. And because it was the tiniest of the fishies, I had named it Tiny Smalls. And so Tiny Smalls loves to hide under the lily pads in the pond, and I rarely get to see Tiny Smalls. And so over the weekend, when I was out there watching the fishies and filming videos of the fishies and all that good stuff, I finally was able to catch Tiny Smalls swimming around. And so I got so super ecstatic and happy because, again, have not had the opportunity to see Tiny Smalls that often. And so being able to see Tiny Smalls and know that Tiny Smalls is still alive made me super happy. So I will likely put that video for y'all to see in my Facebook group, if you're a part of my Facebook group, just so you can see Tiny Smalls, because Tiny Smalls is awesome. So yeah, that is what I've been doing with my time, besides the normal work and all that good stuff. But and Facebook. Gotta love Facebook. Gotta love Facebook. I'm saying it sarcastically because Facebook kept advertising to me this little mount on your wall boxing thing that looks like that, where you're punching it out and you can connect your Bluetooth to it and play your own music, and you're just punching it out. During the pandemic, like, Panda Bear got me a punching bag, but it's sitting out in the garage and the weather has not been great, and we haven't used that punching bag in a long while, and I don't even know when the next time it will be that we will be able to get it out of the garage, because right now what's blocking everything are the bikes that Santa had gotten the kiddos, which they still haven't had a chance to ride them yet because the littlest bike for Malika is still without pedals. So gotta love Santa's elves not providing like a fully built thing. Yeah. Anyways, it's not like I've heard the girls asking for their bikes. So they're right now collecting dust in the garage while we wait to have pedals. So that is blocking my punching bag. But I have this cool new thing that is mounted on the wall right outside of my bedroom in the hallway that I can punch to my heart's content if I want to. So I've only used it twice though, so that's telling you, like, I have to make time for using it. What I have been consistently using though is my walking pad that I had won. at my office Christmas party. So that I have enjoyed very much. And I can't wait to be back in the office to be able to use it again. So it's like every other day I get to use it, which is nice. But yeah, I don't know how many more flowers I need to add, but I just feel like I need more flowers on this mani. So that's why I keep punching them out. And it's kind of fun to watch them fly around like confetti, but it's going to be a hard time cleaning it all up after I turn this video off. So not looking forward to cleaning up all the little bits that I'm going to find all over, but it is what it is. Alright, so I think I just need one more princess cut. So I can put the princess cut back in here. And I'm not going to use this one, but maybe I'll get lucky and can use this one again to punch out something else. So I'll stick that there. And then take out the little kisses, because there's no more little kisses. This one was the last one. The princess cut, I still have princess cut, so I'll put that in here. But yeah, I can't wait to see what everyone else is doing with their Pete's palettes. And just seeing the different color palettes. It was funny because when I picked my number and sent it to Stacy, originally I sent it to Stacy back in February because after reading a comment on one of my YouTube videos, I thought, oh, like Stacy's asking for us to, you know, ask for our number now so that we could do it in March. But then when I sent Stacy a message, she's like, hold that thought until March. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I waited. And then when March rolled around, I sent her a message. She had warned me too, like when I had sent her the message back in February, she's like, I hope you like pink. And I'm like, I'm good with pink, you know, like I'm not opposed to pink. I don't typically, like, pink's not my go-to color, but you know, I do own pink sets, as you can tell, and I do love like hot pink. I'm a big fan of magenta and hot pink and all of that, and so I'm very happy that the Pete's palette that I got has a mix of like the light salmon pink and then the magenta pink, and even had, you know, the cream color and then the chestnut color. Like I love, like, that vibe was totally me, and I am so glad I was able to find sets that were already opened, so I didn't have to open new sets to complete this task, because I really wanted to continue with the use it or lose it that we've been doing for the past month and going on to month number 2. So that made me happy, just knowing that I had the right stuff to do it. But yeah, ooh, I'm trying to see what other colors I need to add to this. So, oh boy, there we go. I was like, I swear there was more princess cut left. There we go. Let's actually put it off to the side a little bit, so it's not all in a line. Oh, shoot. Sometimes they get really sticky and sometimes they don't stick at all. So it's like, oh, I ended up putting it right in a row anyways by accident. Oh, well. It works. Okay. Let's do one more tiny one on the ring finger. I'll definitely need a top coat for this, but I'll probably let it sit for just a little bit before I end up throwing a top coat. I feel like they almost look like clovers. But yeah, I think that's it. I'm done. This is it. This is my use it or lose it Pete's Palette Mani. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. If you've watched this all the way through, go ahead, like, comment below. If you want to comment, let's have you comment a chocolate bar and pink and red hearts. Chocolate bar, pink and red hearts, because that's what this reminds me of. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all next time. Peace.